Okay, MYSUARA FM Citra Generasi Informatif. Jom kita belajar English.
Tergeliat, tersyasyul.
Tersyasyul lah. Talking London. Cepat.
Okay.
How are you, Ms. Wan?
I'm good. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam. Raining today.
Yeah, it was raining. It was raining. Cats and dogs early in the morning at the wee hours. Wee hours means, subuh, dawn.
Wee hours.
Wee hours.
W-E?
W-E-E.
W-E-E?
Hours, jam.
Oh,
hours.
wee
Yes,
hours.
maksudnya waktu yang masih awal.
Okay. Selalu kita guna dawn saja kan.
At my place, it was raining cats and dogs during wee hours, and it's becoming drizzling. Drizzling means renyai-renyai. Drizzle.
Okay. Dapat hari ni perkataan-perkataan baru gitu.
Pasal hujan.
Jangan lupa tulis dekat vocabulary books.
Alright. Okay.
What our topic today?
Okay, our topic for today is anyway, this is our second, I would say, season.
Season 2.
Yeah, second season, and this is our first slot for season 2.
Yes.
Okay. Dah lama It's been quite some time.
Yeah.
We started we started this having this slot for Fun Friday for English. A collaboration between MYSUARA FM and UUMKL.
Yes.
I think it was since February 2000.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
And then we continue until next February.
All right. Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Murah rezeki Ms. Wan. Terima kasih juga kepada Universiti Utara Malaysia Kuala Lumpur.
All right. So, coming back to our topic for today, I would say that this is going to be, for some people, this is something that we come across every day. We talk about it every day.
Oh, really?
We use it in our daily life. It can be in forms of speaking and writing, but it's more to writing. But sometimes we just tend to mislook about it. All right.
Okay.
This is about contraction.
Contraction.
Contraction is actually the process of becoming smaller. Apa sahaja, whatever process, that involve contraction, it is a process of becoming smaller. Mengecilkan. When I first heard the word contraction, okay, let's say I'm talking not to any other linguist. We don't talk about language, but we talk about there's a word contraction appear. My first thought would be about people, a woman giving birth. Yes.
Contraction. Okay.
Contraction. Betul lah tu. Contraction.
Dia macam menegan.
Yes. Contraction, speaking of, women's, giving a context of a woman giving birth, it means that the process in which a muscle becomes, or made shorter and lighter. Muscle dia tu, muscle nak peranakan tu, Alright. So a shortening, they call it a shortening of the uterine muscles occurring at intervals before and during childbirth. So that's why dia macam nak push tu kan. So that's why
dia mengecil, jadi dia
tolak intervals. Yes. Alright. And for that kind of contraction, normally people say, oh, my contraction started at midnight. So the nurses, the doctors, they would be, getting ready about it. All right. And speaking of contraction in terms of grammar, English grammar, it is actually the process of becoming smaller, which means a contraction is an abbreviated version of words or words. Okay, that is a bit complex, I would say, definition.
No, I have an idea.
A simple one is a contraction is a word made by shortening and combining two words. Okay, words like, for example, words like can't. It is actually can and not.
Can't.
So we shorten it, so it becomes can't. C-A-N apostrophe T. Or I've got you. It is actually I. Yes, it is actually I and have. Two words, so it becomes one. Okay, and this is what we call contraction. All right, and people use contractions in both speaking and writing. And after this, we'll go through, examples of contractions, followed by US conventions versus UK conventions.
Gitu. Okay,
right.
sebab selalu kita ada agak sedikit confused tentang kedua-dua ni.
Yes.
Okay, jom kita berehat dulu. Selepas ni kita akan kembali di MYSUARA FM.
Alright,
Fun
stay
Friday with
tuned.
English.
Alright. Speaking of contraction, okay, as I told you just now, contraction is a word made by shortening and combining two words. So words like can't, don't, I've, okay, so those are actually a combination or a shortening of a few words. Normally it is of two words. Like can't, it is actually can and not. And don't, it is actually do and not. And I've, it is actually I and have. And people use contractions.
I and have.
I
you mean
have.
plus. I plus have.
I
okay.
plus have, yes.
Alright, okay.
And all these things like can't, okay, the way we spell it, it is actually C-A-N apostrophe T. Apostrophe means macam comma kat atas. Alright? And an apostrophe can be used to replace a letter or letters. Letter means a huruf. For example, isn't. Okay. Isn't. Isn't.
It is not.
It is not. Okay. Is not. Kalau nak kira dia replace perkataan O. Because the way we spell it, I, S, N, apostrophe T. Okay. Isn't. And don't. Don't, it is actually do not. Can't, cannot. So when this happens, a new word like can't, don't, isn't, a new word called a contraction is formed. So dari situ, from there we know that macam mana munculnya contraction. And apostrophe is only be placed sebelum satu letter yang terakhir, like don't. D-O-N apostrophe baru T. Okay, it's not that D-O then apostrophe N-T, wrong.
Selalu confused.
Yes, right. Right. So that's why we need more, exposure and practices regarding this. All right, examples of contractions. Speaking of contraction, there are actually two main kinds, the dua jenis. For the first one, those formed by, replacing missing letters with an apostrophe, for example. And these contractions are formed either by shortening a word or merging two words into one. Merging means kita gabungkan two words into one. For example, this is something that I mentioned just now. For the first kind, macam biasa, don't, can't, shouldn't, he is jadi his, she is jadi she's, all these things. That is the first kind. Itu jenis yang pertama. Alright. For the second kind, it is this is something that we use normally in our formal writing. It can be, it can be used either in letter, in academic writings, in writing memos at the office. It is actually those formed by compressing a word without apostrophe. Kita tak pakai apostrophe like the first one. The first one like can't, don't, shouldn't, semua ada apostrophe. For the second type, we don't use apostrophe, but we use full stop, dot.
Full stop.
For example,
Okay. Okay.
For example, Mr. Balan. Mr. tu di
depan.
dekat depan kita letak sebagai M-R full stop.
Okay.
That is actually also another kind of contraction. Contraction tu sebenarnya doctor, DR. DR apostrophe pula. DR full stop. Contohnya Dr. Ahmad. Okay, so DR after R full stop. Or prof, P-R-O-F. Okay, instead of writing it fully like professor, we tend to just write it as prof, P-R-O-F full stop. All right. And this is so actually we know that there are two kinds of contraction. The first one kita pakai apostrophe. For the second type, we don't use apostrophe, but we just compress the word and use only full stop. But for the second type yang pakai full stop ni, it depends on what kind of convention, persetujuan US or UK yang you pakai. Okay, let's say under UK convention, contractions only attract a full stop. Okay, contraction only attract a full stop. Kalau kita kat UK, kita pakai full stop. When the last letter of the contraction is different from the last letter of the full word. Okay, let me explain in detail. Dia macam ni, contohnya. Should you, for example, I give you a sentence. Should you write Mr. Smith or Mr. full stop Smith? Second page lah. Okay. Cuba you tengok. Should you write Mr. Smith or Mr. Smith? Mr. tu, between Mr. and Smith, if you notice, Arin, there are sometimes people don't write it as Mr. Full stop. Ada yang ada titik, ada yang tak ada titik.
But I'm usually use titik.
Betul. In Malaysia, kadang-kadang we tend to use titik, right? We tend to use the dot there. After Mr. titik, baru nama kan? But there are times I come across tak ada titik. So there goes kat mana tu. Sama juga dengan doktor. Ada yang pakai doktor, contohnya Dr. Rizal. After doctor, DR ada yang titik, ada yang tak ada. Okay. And if we are following US convention, kalau kita pakai US biasanya pakai full stop. US sebenarnya yang full stop, American. Okay.
Oh, US yang pakai.
US yang full stop.
So kalau macam kita standard UK.
Yes, UK.
Standard, so after this, don't need
yeah, it can be yes, it can be no. And UK, if you are following UK convention, you have a choice. You ada choice. You nak pakai ke you tak nak pakai?
Oh, dua-dua boleh.
Dua-dua boleh.
Okay.
UK they start straight. But for academic writing or formal writing in US, they want it to be there. Dia nak ada titik tu.
So better we use titik tu lah.
Yelah.
Mana-mana.
We can accommodate to both, right? So here's a useful guideline for British. Kalau nak pakai, if we are strictly following British, if the last letter of a contraction is the same as the last letter of the whole word, then don't use a full stop. Contoh bila masa British ni pakai full stop, kan dia kata ada choice kan? Okay, when they are going to use, when they are not using it. For example, Mr. The full spelling is M-I-S-T-E-R, Mr. Alright? And okay, cuba tengok. M-I-S-T-E-R. R last kali kan? Mr. Kalau disingkatkan jadi
MR.
R tu sama tak dengan full spelling dia yang last tu? Same, right? Okay. They said kalau same, there's no need full stop.
Oh.
Tak perlu.
Itu.
Tapi
confused. Banyak kerja sikit.
Okay, macam ada a few guidelines kan for British.
Nak tulis pun kena fikir kejap. Okay.
Excuse me.
Alright. Okay.
Alright. But when it comes to professor, professor, okay, the full spelling is P-R-O-F-E-S-S-O-R, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, professor. But, okay, the contraction form of professor is
just
prof.
Awal.
Prof, right?
Yes.
P-R-O-F.
Yes.
So yang belakang tu R ke F? F instead of R. So British bila tak sama, dia pakai F. Sebab dia anggap sebutan tu tak habis. The spelling tu is not complete. Kan macam tadi Mr. MR sama yang M-I-S-T-E-R. So bila sama, you don't have to use full stop. But let's say bila tak sama je, professor terus jadi prof je F, bukan PR. Kan professor R kat belakangan, okay? So straight away prof, P-R-O-F, full stop. So the last letter need a full stop, which means period. Dia nak period tu kat situ. Period here means the dot. So that's how it goes lah, on how we use full stop, the dots and apostrophe for contractions.
Okay, kita rehat sebentar dengan lagu ini. Selepas ni kembali lagi bersama saya dan juga Ms.Wan di Fun Friday with English, MYSUARA FM. Okay, MYSUARA FM Citra Generasi Informatif. Baik, jom kita sambung lagi dalam Fun Friday with English. Hari ini topik kita contraction.
Alright, so to our listeners, okay, especially for those who just join us, okay, I just today we just have some discussions on what is contractions and examples of contractions, and just now we mentioned about the difference between US convention and UK conventions. So speaking of examples of contractions, just a recap for those who just joined us, there are actually two main kinds. The first one, for the first type of contraction, kita pakai apostrophe. Apostrophe means yang comma di atas tu kan, like don'ts, can't, shouldn't. So you know it is actually a
someone they asked what is different apostrophe and hyphen yang
Sometimes
they confuse hyphen tu yang
sempang
tu
yes
kan?
apostrophe yang comma di atas. Alright,
kalau pembuka kata tu
inverted comma.
Inverted comma.
Yes.
Okay, faham. Jangan tanya lagi. Okay.
Alright, so speaking of contractions, there are two main kinds of contractions. The first one we use apostrophe, the second one we use full stop, period. Okay, tanda nokta. And for the second type, the one that we use nokta, it is actually a shortening of the word, like professor, so it becomes prof. Doctor, it becomes dr. Mister, it becomes mr. So those kind of things. Alright, so moving on, we cannot invent our own contractions. Contractions tak boleh direka. Some people might think that boleh direka. Okay, but we can't actually. So here is a list of common contractions in English. For example, common things that we always listen to, like cannot, it becomes can't. Okay, famous, right? Did not, it becomes didn't. Do not, it becomes don't. Are not,
Arin.
Not Arin
Arin.
Are not, aren't. Aren't you? So how does it spelled?
AREN apostrophe T.
Yes, correct. How about has not? Hasn't. How it is spelled?
HAS
and apostrophe T. Yes, correct. Apostrophe should becomes before the last letter. Sebelum last letter. So which means sebelum T lah. Had not? Hadn't, correct. HAD and apostrophe T. Alright. How about HE apostrophe D? Heat.
He had, is it?
It has two meanings. Okay, it can represent two combinations. He'd macam he'd go after me. He would go after me.
He would.
It can be he would, it can be he had. Depends on the context of the sentences. It depends. So now we know that he apostrophe D, it can be, a representative, a shortening of two combinations. Okay, either he had or he would.
He would.
He
would. Kalau wouldn't.
Yes,
not, right?
yes.
Okay.
Ada lagi satu ni. He apostrophe LL.
Hell.
Hell pula.
Sorry.
He apostrophe LL. He will. That is the first one. Second combination.
But dia punya pronunciation?
He'll.
Right?
He'll. Oh, he'll come here after this.
He will lah. Okay.
He will. He'll come here shortly. Dia akan datang kemudian. Sekejap lagi.
Ada macam perkataan yang dia selalu ni, saya tak tahu sama ada dia bahasa local language or what. They always use in. AIN.
Ain't. Informal use. It is actually,
it's bahasa local language.
I ain't going. I am not going. Betul, yes, correct. Pandai you tanya. That is actually bahasa pasar. Normally it is used, not in our country. Ain't, it is actually, it depends. For example, I ain't. I am not. She ain't. She is not. They ain't. Supposed to be they aren't. Jadi ain't pula. It is actually very much influenced by their accent. Cara dia bercakap tu is mostly used by black. Alright. So he'll, speaking of he'll, coming back to he'll, HE apostrophe LL, it is actually he will or he shall. Shall pun he will juga.
Betul-betul buat confuse.
Dia patut. Dia patut.
Dia
He shall.
He shall.
Okay. Contohnya shall, you know right, shall is one of the models. Shall we dance? Shall we go now? Shall we make a move now? So the way we shorten it, the contraction forms of he shall is actually he apostrophe ll. How about his? He''s. This is agak confused. The one that we're discussing now, contraction which are kita rasa kadang-kadang macam contohnya he''s mesti he is, right? Actually it is it's also represent another form of combination. Selain daripada he is, apart from he is, he has pun his. He''s actually also he has. His car. He's a car. Apa benda ni? He is a car. Dia sebuah kereta. It can affect the understanding,
Yes.
He is a car. Sebenarnya he has a car.
It depends on the sentence.
Context of the sentence. I apostrophe D.
I had. Or
Yes, I had tu satu. Another one is I would.
I would also can.
I would go with you. I'd go with you. I'd go with you. Macam I had go with you. No, it is actually I would go with you. Banyak tu. How about let's? Let's is actually a combination of what? Let's. Let apostrophe s. Let's. Yes, let us. Let us sebenarnya. Setengah orang ingat let's tu macam memang dah macam tu. No, it is actually a form of contraction. Let's. Let us go now. Jom kita pergi. Jom kita.
Okay.
Alright. Next we have
Okay, ini memang tak pernah guna pun.
Oh really? Must not.
Must yes, I usually use
full words.
But
Right, correct. Yes.
Never use mustn't.
Mustn't. Okay. How it is spelled? Macam agak confused kan? Must not. MUST and apostrophe T. As usual, we just omit the word O. Mustn't. How about she'd? Sama macam I'd tadi. She'd. D. She'd. She'd go with me. She'd go with me. Sebenarnya she would go with me. Or she had gone with me. She'd. Okay, we know that she had is either she had or she would. Okay, the same thing.
Okay, Ms.Wan, kita berehat dulu.
Alright.
Sebentar lagi berita ringkas di MYSUARA.
Alright.
Okay, kembali lagi. Hari ni kita special sikit kan.
Special.
Melangkaui batas. Okay, jom kita sambung. Katanya ada sikit lagi, Ms.Wan.
Alright, so let us continue. Okay, with contractions. Just now we talk about, for those who were wondering, this is actually still a continuation of Fun Friday with English slot. Okay, and for today's slot, we talk about contraction. Okay, contraction is actually a word made by shortening and combining two words. Okay, for example, like can't, don't, I've, didn't, weren't, aren't, mustn't. Alright, so these are actually a forms of contractions where we use apostrophe. Can't, C-A-N, apostrophe T. So there are a lot more. And just for our closing, all I can say is contraction is something that we come across. Come across means jumpa selalu. Okay, come across, kita ternampak, terbaca, that is come across. Terserempak, bump into pun boleh kalau secara physical. Alright, but for something yang kita discover, we encounter it, so come across. Alright, so for things that we come across every day, but not necessarily it is, appropriate. Appropriate means sesuai to be used in formal writing. I read somewhere saying that the use of contraction, it is actually not for business writing. Okay, for those out there who are into business, or for the secretaries, PAs and all, try not to use contraction in your business writing. Okay, usually Business writing demands more formality, okay, than the use of contractions portrays. For example, like can't, doesn't. So instead of using it, expand them, kembangkan dia to the full versions. Tulis penuh-penuh. So unless you are, deliberately trying to show an informal image, kalau you betul-betul nak tunjukkan image yang informal, very good friends, even though cakap pasal business, even though you talk about business, but this is the writing and the message conveyed is just between you and your very close friends. You are deliberately means sengaja, purposely, deliberate, DELIBERATE, deliberate. It was done deliberately. Dia dibuat secara tidak sengaja or sengaja. Alright. So kalau sengaja, okay, tak apa, you can use informal image, but don't use contractions like can't, doesn't in business writing. Expand them to the full versions. So because sometimes expanding contractions, can help avoid grammatical errors. Contoh, if you always expand your contraction, you are less likely to make a mistake with the following. For example, it's. Speaking of it's, IT'(S). It's. IT'(S). It is actually a contraction of it is. So kalau ITS sahaja, kepunyaan. It. Oh, I saw a monkey. Its tail is very long. So, yes, itu baru ITS. Itu baru ITS without apostrophe. Ada apostrophe, automatically it is. So that's why business, deals with money and understanding, agreement and all. So that is why it is strongly advised to use, full versions of spelling. Takut risau, dia mengganggu pemahaman. Alright.
Thanks to Ms.Wan yang
Alright.
telah banyak berkongsi ilmu dengan kita tentang penggunaan bahasa Inggeris yang betul. Hari ini topik contraction. Okay, InsyaAllah minggu depan tak ada.
Okay.
Kita cuti.
Minggu depan cuti, ya. Okay, so for next week, our slot will be postponed to the following week.
Yes. Dan jangan lupa minggu depan kita ada Malam Merdeka MYSUARA di Warisan Sound Sejangkang Kelang. Jadi ramai-ramai lah datang ke sana. Tu kan update dari masa ke semasa tahu.
Alright.
Ms.Wan apa kena datang ya? Ms.Wan wajib datang.
Alright, insyaAllah. Ms.Wan kan nak bersajak.
Kena. Okay. Baik, kita berehat dulu dan kembali selepas ini di MYSUARA FM, Citra Generasi Informatif.